In Memphis, we know a thing or two about resilience. From the grindhouse to the Delta, we protect what's ours. But when pests invade your home, it's time to fight back. Grade A Pest knows how to handle what crawls, flies, and bites. With local experience and guaranteed results.
I'm Reggie with Grade A Pest Control. We service the Memphis metro area. That also includes DeSoto and Fayette County as well.
Grade A Pest has the entire Mid-South covered. So if bugs and pests put you to the test, let Grade A solve your problem. In Memphis, nothing comes easy, and that's exactly how we like it. This is a city built on hustle, on heart, on grit. And at Carway, our rides are built the same way. Tough, reliable, ready for the grind. No games, no gimmicks, just Memphis-style service. Real, honest, and built on trust. Where grit meets grind, you meet your next ride. Carway, grit, grind, and pink beetles.
What is up, y'all, and welcome into the On the Bluff podcast. I am your host, Gabe Kuhn. Usually we have Christian Fowler in here. He's gonna have to, say bye-bye for the week. He's gonna pass up on the week. We have Kenny Stubbs in though. Kenny Stubblefield. What's happening, brother?
My brother, it is good to see your gorgeous face.
Oh,
I'm just gonna
man.
say that.
I appreciate that. I appreciate it. Not that gorgeous, man. I gotta get cleaned up.
Nah, bro, you look good. Are you gonna go?
I'm getting the beard trim tomorrow.
Oh,
so
yeah?
We're gonna have to get cleaned up, man.
I feel you, brother.
I don't keep my beard as perfectly coiffed as yours.
Mine. I have to put. Do you put beard oil in? I put beard oil in mine.
Oh, only on special occasions. So it's nice.
You gotta brush it.
Nice and glistening.
Yeah.
Nice and glistening. It actually does keep it nice and soft. The hairs. Yeah, I don't do it every day though. I can tell you do. Do you dye your beard or do you just have that dark a hair?
My hair's pretty dark.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't dye the beard.
You didn't answer. You didn't answer. Come on, brother. You got some Just Men in that thing?
Nope. No dye. No hair dye. None whatsoever. It was one of the reasons why I shaved my head, because I'm starting to get real gray on the sides over here. And so I just was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to cut it all off.
Yep.
Nobody can see.
Yeah. But
how are you, man? How was your week?
It was all right. Nothing to write home about.
Yeah.
Nothing to write home about. You? All good?
Yeah, man. Things are great. Heading to Birmingham, but not for the.
Yeah, I was gonna say there ain't no way you're going to that damn.
Not
tournament.
for the
Unless
conference
Tigers
tournament.
get there on Sunday, maybe.
I'll be there from Friday to Sunday. My daughter has a volleyball tournament in the exact same arena that the Tigers are playing in the American Conference tournament.
Isn't that kind of sad?
It's just I'm either like it's sad or that's a big ass conference center, bro. Like I've never been to this Birmingham Conference Center.
Is your daughter's volleyball team big time or is the American Conference tournament small time? That's what we need to ask.
Well, I mean, it's my daughter, so of course she's big time. Like,
big
what are
time.
you talking about? Yeah. No, but yeah, so I'll be there. If the Tigers, I'll be there on Friday. I suspect the Tigers start to play in the American Conference tournament on Wednesday. I have a sneaky suspicion their season will be done before I get there on Friday.
Okay, we'll do predictions. You didn't have to, let it be known right this second.
I'm just
So
saying.
talk about their trip and what they have to do. I can just tell you right now, 5 games in 5 days if they want to handle business. Did you see though? If you want some hope, if you want to take some hope, Georgia Southern almost pulled the impossible in the Sun Belt Conference.
What'd they do?
Tournament. They went 5 games in 5 days, won all of them. They were trying to be the only team in the history of the sport of college basketball to go 6 games in 6 days. What? They entered the tournament, Sun Belt tournament, 16-15, and by the time they got to the championship, 21-15. So they finished season 21-16, 5-1 in their last 6. Almost punched a ticket to the NCAA tournament, an auto bid.
You want to hear a sobering statistic or a sobering stat?
Shit. I mean,
if the Tigers
basketball team,
if the Tigers basketball program wins 5 games in 5 days, they'll be at 500. For the season. 13-18 on the year.
Damn it, I didn't even think about that. That's disgusting.
That's disgusting.
18-18 NCAA tournament team. What are we talking about? Yeah. Shit, dude. Good God. This season has just been misery. But I will say this. There is some positivity. Some Tigers are at least in the American tournament.
Yep.
And they beat Tulane in overtime. Woo! Avenge their loss at home, where they lost by 2. They won 96-95 in OT. Now, Kenny, I just want to say this, and I want to get your reaction to me saying this.
Yeah.
Watching the last minute and 40 plus overtime for both teams, it gave me a stomach ache. Like, actively gave me a stomach ache. I almost had to go throw up in the bathroom. I mean, it was horrible. Tigers at the end of the second half, end of regulation, they're up 80-71 with 1:49 left. Yep. Rowan Brumbaugh makes a 3, 80-74 with 1:36 left. 2 turnovers, and they allow from that point forward Tulane to make every single basket they put up. Yeah. And by the end, you have Tierno Silla getting to the line. He's not good from the line. He goes 1 for 2, and KJ Green right down the middle of the lane, 81-81. In 1:49, they gave up a 9-point lead.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, I know we've seen crazy things. That's really hard to do. And then in overtime, I thought they were going to lose because here's Tulane getting out to a quick lead. I think they got out to 87-81 at one point. But then they couldn't stop fouling.
They couldn't stop.
My eyes. Ron Hunter was beside himself. And they were all fouls, too. It wasn't like ticky-tack. Shit, they were just fouling as much as possible. Both teams were awful to end that game. Absolutely awful. It's honestly a minor miracle that the Tigers were able to win by 1. But hey, you win by 1. It wouldn't have mattered anyway because ECU ended up losing. But at halftime of the ECU UAB game, ECU had a 3-point lead over UAB. So Tigers needed to take care of themselves and handle business.
Breaking news.
How breaking news? What are we talking?
Ravens back out of trade agreement for Max Crosby.
They backed out.
Damn.
That's interesting.
All right, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, I was going to say I don't know if that's breaking news we needed to break right now, but hey.
That's crazy though.
I thought you were going to tell me Penny Hardaway got fired or they were hired.
No, this is a football show. It's a football show. This is a you and Christian are obviously football guys. I thought that was interesting. Anyway, go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, but they won the ball game. They're going to be the 8th seed in the conference tournament, and their path is relatively simple. 5 games in 5 days. That's what they have to do. It's pretty clear they ain't making the NCAA tournament otherwise. They have Tulane. If they beat Tulane because of the ladder and the buys and how this whole thing is set up, they would then play Charlotte. They have beaten Charlotte by 23 at home. Then if they move on from there, they will have a chance to beat UAB, who they've already beaten so far this year. They've split with UAB. And then they'd have South Florida. But the first 3 games are against teams that they have beaten.
Right.
So they could potentially make a run. Let me put it in your court, though, Kenny. How far do you think they make it in this tournament?
Sorry, my computer froze on me for a second.
I just asked, how far do you think they make it in this tournament, knowing what their path is?
Yeah, I mean, as it kind of started to unfold during that game, I would say Do you real quick, man? We're doing this behind the scenes. Do you have your headphones in? Because I'm hearing myself like big time.
I don't have my headphones in.
Okay, man. Woo, that was freaking me out for a second. Sorry, guys. The behind the fourth wall of the On the Bluff podcast. But no, I think that these guys are like this bracket that they're in is, if I could think of a bracket that would be a pathway to get to where they want to go, this is the one that you want to be a part of. They've played everybody especially in those first 3 rounds, they have played and beat every single one of those teams. Tulane, we know we have memories of Memphis beating Tulane in the quarterfinals of a tournament in the American Conference tournament in Fort Worth by like 40 points a few years ago. Yep. We know that Penny doesn't have really that. I know they lost to Tulane at home this year, but Penny doesn't really struggle that much with Ron Hunter when they're not in Tulane, when they're not in New Orleans. He struggles with them when they're in New Orleans. And then obviously Charlotte is just a terrible basketball team. I don't know how in the world they were second in the conference for a majority of the conference. Memphis came in and smoked them by like 23 points. I mean, they just dominated from post to pillar, and so then you have, is it North Texas after that? If they in the UAB, I mean,
beat UAB handily on the road too this year.
Yeah, but UAB is really good away from Birmingham. Even though this isn't Birmingham, they're not playing in their home arena.
It is kind of wild to look at UAB's results.
Yeah,
they have. I mean, by my count, let's see. They
2-7 at home this year.
They won every game in conference on the road.
Yeah, and they were 2-7
every single game that they played on the road, they won.
Yeah.
That is a wild stat.
It's wild. It is the way to do it. My question is do the Tigers have a shot? Like, you're asking these guys to win 5 games in 5 days. And I think that's very, very, that's going to be very difficult for them. But crazier things have happened, right? Like sure. This, a team can't get hot, right? They can't get hot. My question to you is, like, you see the box score. Like, I'm wondering what Penny Hardaway's game plan in terms of his rotations is going to be as they go into the tournament. Is he going to be thinking about the fact that they potentially have to play 5 games in 5 days? Or is he going to be thinking about, hey, man, 6 dudes playing the entire game worked really well for me. We scored 96 points in a game against Tulane, and we secured our spot in the American Conference tournament with really only 6 dudes getting substantial minutes.
It was 7 dudes. 6 or 7. Off the bench, it was Scylla and Gibbons. So, then Aaron Bradshaw had 20, and Julius Thedford had 12 minutes.
Right.
But, he played 6 for 10-plus minutes. So, I mean –
the entirety of the second half
for 10-plus minutes.
The entirety of the second half, it was basically 6 guys.
Yeah,
and because I don't think Julius played a single minute or Sincere played a single minute.
Yeah,
second half. My thought process is I'm almost expecting Penny to come in and just be like, I'm riding with the dudes that I know I can trust.
I think he has to, because you cannot. As a 13 and 18 number 8 seed in the American basketball tournament, I don't think you can sit here and reserve anything because you feel like you're going to have to play 5 games in 5 days. You have to win to advance, right. And to win, you have to put your best foot forward. And this team, we have seen on multiple occasions, has been known to not put their best foot forward. Now, if you're wondering about their longest win streak this year, it's 3. The longest win streak in conference, 2. So the chances of them winning 5 in 5 days, not very high. But, hey, again, like Kenny said, stranger things have happened. I remember a few years back when Patrick Ewing, one of his final years there in the Big East at Georgetown, he ended up with like an 11 or 14 win team, whatever it was. It was a losing record. He ended up willing them through the gauntlet of the Big East tournament and got an auto bid. So, there's things that have happened in the past that we could look back on and find positivity. I just can't do it with this particular team and set of circumstances. Yeah. Now, here's what I could see. I don't mind if you think they can win the first 3 games because they've beat those teams. Sure, cool. They can go 3 in 3 days. They ain't beating South Florida. I don't give a damn what you think. There's no world, based on what I've seen from 2 games that they played that team, there's no world where they beat that team. Brian Hodgson has them playing really well. He was the coach of the year. They had the defensive player of the year. They had the player of the year. They're operating on a different level than Memphis is right now. And here's the other point to make about that. If they happen to get to that fourth game in 4 days against USF is dead fresh, having not played a game. They've played 3 in the last 3 days. And what do we know about South Florida style, Kenny? Run up and down the floor, shoot with volume, and just run, get as many shots up as humanly possible. Yeah. Do you think that this Tiger team would be able to keep up in a South Florida paced game on the fourth game in 4 nights? There's just no chance. I would see that being an absolute bloodbath, even if they get that far.
Yeah, no, I don't. I think that's where you go, and I think, unfortunately, that the only way that this season becomes a remote success is if they win the American Conference tournament on Sunday. Making it to the semifinals is not something you hang your hat on, right? Like, you don't, especially having to the path in which you had to get there. You had to win on the very last day to secure your spot to even get in the tournament. And then you had to win 5 games in 5 days to even potentially sniff a 14 seed in the NCAA tournament. Like, it's just not, it's not great. And I suspect I could see the Tigers, winning a couple of games. I could see them, getting into the quarterfinals, but I think it just ends there, bro. I really do. Like,
they can win the first 3 games. They've beaten those teams. They will not beat South Florida. Like, I don't think there's a world where they're able to beat that team, where they're rested and the Tigers have played 3 games and won 3 hard-fought games in 3 days against that style, that hot team. No. Tough. Now, if you're asking me if I predict them winning those first 3 games, no, I think they'll bow out. I don't think they lose to Charlotte if they get through Tulane. I could see them either losing to Tulane or UAB if they don't get to that South Florida game, right? Like, I think Charlotte is kind of a nice little second game if they're able to get through Tulane coming up tomorrow night.
Yeah. What do you think? The Tulane game scares me for a multitude of reasons. You just got done playing them. It's hard to play a team back-to-back. Penny Hardaway on Monday night at his radio show said, basically, we kind of lucked out we're playing Tulane because our game plan's not going to change a single bit. As a football guy, that probably grates on you, right? Like,
oh no, we talked. This was in the green room before the show. We were talking about this. I hated hearing that. I really did. Now, as a football guy, listen, basketball and football are completely different sports. Understand that. But if you ran the same game plan out there back to back against the same team in football, you would get your brains beat in.
Yeah.
Because they're sitting on it, ready for everything you're about to do. That's what they're game planning. That's what they're making their game plan off of. So my hope would be Penny goes and watches this film. And yeah, obviously there's a certain game plan you need to follow. Limit Rowan Brumbaugh. He has 58 points on 57% shooting and 44% from 3 in 2 games against you so far this year. So for the love of God, do something about him. That's something that your game plan should have called for. So please stop him. Try to knock down some of your threes, shoot with some good efficiency. Try to get out and run, turn defense to offense. That's kind of the Memphis this Memphis team's peak game plan.
Yeah.
But if you had something special for this Tulane team, one, I don't really buy it because I whatever game plan you had running against Tulane on Sunday wasn't overly great by any stretch of the imagination. But change some things up. Watch the film. Rethink what you want to do, how you want to deploy guys. I can't imagine Rowan Brumbaugh is supposed to be getting his game off like this against you. Like, find something else to do to him to bother him. But I heard that in the football player in me was like, hey,
what?
That's not what I want to hear. But maybe you could provide.
Well, I can say
that I don't have.
I could say 2 things that need to change very quickly is how to guard the pick and roll, the on-ball pick and roll, because that's how Rowan Brumbaugh in that second half, and even the what's his name, the kid who KJ Green.
KJ Green tied the ball game.
It's how KJ Green was able to tie the ball game. There were guys that were going under screens that should have gone over screens. There was guys that were going over screens that should have gone under screens. That I'm just like, it was just wide open lane after lane after lane. Like, so tighten that up. Like, that needs to change. You got to get on the same page.
Penny used to be a switch everything guy, though, right?
Yeah,
like, you can't do that with this team, though. You can't do that with this team. This team's not capable of that.
And I'll say this, like, I think one of the ways that they should count their lucky stars is that Tyler Ringgold went out after 23 minutes. That man had 16 points on 7 of 11 shooting, 2 of 2 for the three-point line, was beasting them on the boards, and just couldn't stop fouling. And he fouled out with 13 minutes left in the game. Like, I mean, it just was like him being out of the game drastically changed what Tulane was able to do on the offensive side of the floor. Figure out how to stop him, because that dude destroyed you in the first half.
Even base level, can I ask you, is it luck to play the same team twice in a row? I don't find that lucky at all. I think that's a disadvantage for both teams. I think that's a problem. That's tough to do, especially if you're on the winning side. To be able to beat that team twice in a row is tough.
It's hard for me because, like, I want to say that normally the NBA's been doing that a lot lately, where they'll have teams come in and stay for like 3 days in a city and do
Grizzlies had the one against the Blazers.
They had this year. Obviously the German and London game against Orlando. They've done it against the Bulls, I think. I mean, they've done it like 3 or 4 times this year.
It's different in an 82 game.
It is
setting.
I think both of these teams suck so bad that I don't know if it necessarily matters. Like, and I don't mean that to be a jerk. I'm just saying, like there's not a lot. Like, here's the thing. It's not like Tulane looked at the footage and said, hey, we got to do this differently so that we can, stop these guys from getting their stuff off. Like, no, man, the Tigers did a lot of stopping themselves, right? Yeah. Like, there's with both of these teams, it feels like the game plan, the film watching between the games should be how to fix our mistakes, not how to combat what the other team is doing to you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I get that. Because
the
biggest opponent is themselves.
Both of these teams make so many mistakes throughout a game. It's just bad basketball.
Yeah, watch overtime for Tulane and watch the last minute 49 for the Tigers. You can definitely point that out. Yeah. Now we're going to talk about a Memphis fired basketball coach in a second. Right. Can you give me, and I'm putting you on the spot. This was not in the green room for a reason, because I'm ready. I'm ready to really fire this out there. Give me your percentage on Penny staying versus being fired as it stands today.
100% he'll be back next year.
Okay, 100%. Are you getting information that you want to drop here, that you want to come on? Because that sounds that you can't just say 100% considering this circumstance and not expect. I'm not saying cite your sources, but what I am saying is, like, what are you hearing?
I am hearing that it would take the powers that be do not want to fire Penny Hardaway.
Right.
There's a group of people above the powers that be that have the ability to fire Penny Hardaway.
So the athletic director has the ability to fire Penny Hardaway. The powers that be have the money to facilitate that because there's a buyout.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I think
you're speaking in code, brother.
Exactly.
You don't have to do that. This is a safe space, I promise.
The athletic department does not want to fire Penny Hardaway.
The athletic department doesn't.
No.
Okay.
But there are some big boosters that are.
I got it the opposite.
Are ready to move on, and the question is can they get?
Well, my question would be, Kenny. There are some. You said there are some big boosters. Is the big booster BL? Is he on board with coughing up money and getting other people to cough up money to pay for a buyout and move off Penny Hardaway? Because we know their relationship's pretty damn good. That's what my question would be.
Here's my thing, and I think it even goes deeper than that. Like, I think the conversation is deeper than that. Like, most of these big time boosters, have been fans and been boosters or were students or contemporaries of one Larry Finch.
Sure. Don't want that to happen again.
And so you've got to imagine that there's got to be some hesitancy on a booster to sign a check that would pay the money to remove Penny Hardaway as the head coach of the university.
Yeah, no, I get it.
That's got to be a tough decision, right?
Here's what I want to
like. Do you want to have your name attached to that?
Yes, I want to hone in on this though. Board of Trustees meeting last week. Media members are present, which I am not used to. That's not a normal occurrence, although it's not abnormal. Like it has happened. But in Memphis, I can't really remember the last Board of Trustees meeting where you had the CA, and you had all of our, media members there, sports media members even. And Ed Scott revealed to everybody there, knowing media was there, we had a $1.2 million shortfall in men's ticket revenue. Now, what I also found interesting, Kenny, is what he said directly after that. Did you catch it?
Yeah.
He basically put out that every other program, all of them, met their end of the bargain and were able to get. Now, granted, Memphis basketball compared to those other programs, the bar is completely different, right? And when you have a bad season, it's a lot easier to have a shortfall. But there's a lot of people with this narrative out there that's kind of laying a foundation for guys. It may be time, from Ed Scott himself. Now, that's a normal conversation to have with the Board of Trustees, but the media being there and Ed Scott saying those pointed comments, being very clear about the shortfall, I find interesting as well. I don't know if I'm making a full correlation saying that he's laying the groundwork to fire him as if, the conference tournament doesn't go right. Because I think you could have if you were going to fire him, you could have made your decision by now. Right. And the fact that it's still outstanding and it feels like they're still in that decision-making process leads me to believe the hesitancy is too much to actually fire him at the moment. That's my feel. Yeah. But I can see where people are running with that idea because of how pointed Ed Scott was that, oh, God, is he really laying the foundation for reasons that he's going to move off of Penny this offseason?
I don't think that that's an unfair link to make. I mean, sure. I do think that I think it is quite alarming to hear that, like to hear the athletic director say that the team that has the most famous Memphian of all time, as the head coach of it, is the only team at Memphis that's had a shortfall in terms of revenue generation, whether it be ticket sales, parking.
$1.2 million off of your target mark is kind of a lot too, by the way, to be very clear.
Yeah, and I think I would like to know, like, what were the expectations, right? Like, what were the expectations for each of these programs?
Coming off a 29-5 or 29-6 season, I bet the bar was pretty high.
Yeah. Well, I think, am I wrong to say that 1.2 was from the year that they did go 29.5 or 29-6? Was that from this past year or the year before?
I think that was from this season.
I don't know. I think the 29-6 team was involved in that. Was a part of that year to date thing. I don't know.
Fiscal year, whatever the hell it is.
Fiscal year, whatever it is, the business phrase of it. Because I don't think you can necessarily give a expectation for. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But yeah, like I think that it's not wrong to make that link. But I just don't see it happening this year. I don't think it's happening this year. I think that there are like clear like lines of distinction that have to be made of like what is this going to look like next year. Like when I say that, I think people hear he's either fired or he's going to continue to do the same exact thing. It's going to be the same exact situation as it has been. That's not the case. Like that, I think the athletic department is absolutely making moves to hold Penny to an account to what happened this year, making some like very difficult decisions and hard decisions for him, bringing people in to help him, things like that. I think those things are happening as we speak.
Is Penny going to take that help in stride? Or is he going to have no choice? That's another question.
Yeah, I think that's the $1 million question, right? Like Penny has had guys on his staff that have kind of played that GM role for him. And they're not here anymore. They didn't last for very long.
Right.
But I would say to you that I think that there's probably a level of, like, you need somebody to, like, if I am Penny Hardaway and I am coming off of a season with such disappointment, like, I would hope that I would be able to, like, I think the part about coaching a college team that would be the most difficult is that you have to also, not only do you have to like run coaching, like run film sessions and run, on court stuff and run all these, like the games and practices and all that, but then you also have to be kind of in his own brain has kind of become the CEO of that place too, where he has to run the paperwork, all the financial statements that have to come back out, like all those things. Those are all things that he's had to take on himself. I would hope that I'd have somebody to come in and take care, like handle the day-to-day stuff, right? Like that would be, that'd be super beneficial for a guy like Penny
I'll
Hardaway.
say this though, that just me considering how this year went, this would not be a Penny Hardaway guy. This would be a Ed Scott athletic department hire for the most part, in my assessment of the situation.
Yeah, I mean, I suspect you probably wouldn't hire a guy that Penny wouldn't be able to mesh with, though. Like Penny's gonna have to have
sure, but like I don't think you're gonna go out and hire another Jermaine Johnson type. You know what I mean? And I like Jermaine, okay, but like I think that the problem we've had with Penny is Penny has surrounded himself with a lot of yes men that are friends, and I mean, the outside, not so familiar hires, I think, have rendered the best seasons, to be quite frank. When we're talking assistant coaches, Nolan Smith was one of those guys.
Yeah.
Rick, to a certain extent, although he was familiar with him, was kind of one of those guys.
Yeah.
So, like, I would have to imagine, yes, Penny's going to have to, like, get along with a person. They can't hate each other. That's not a good – that would be a bad situation from the top. But I can't imagine Ed Scott and the people around the athletic department would just say, all right, Penny, here's the money. Go hire your guy. No. After 13 and 18, there's no chance. No chance. All right, now to an actually fired Memphis basketball coach, Alex Simmons. She made it 3 years coming over from Gardner-Webb, 30 and 61 overall, 18 and 36 in conference. She deserved to be fired. There's just no question about it. The idea was always, okay, year one, it's going to be tough. You get your people in, start building the culture. But year two, year three, we need to see some progress. We didn't see progress. We saw a complete lack of progress. It went the opposite way. It went down. And this job is honestly worse than the day she took it over, which I mean, you could have bet at that time, you could have bet me $1 million and I would have said that it would have been in a better spot, but whatever. Here's the real quote I wanted to get to. After they were knocked out of the American tournament and their season was over, Alex Simmons was asked about her future at Memphis. And obviously she's since been fired. Just want to reiterate that after 3 years. She said, I haven't talked to Ed about anything, talking about Ed Scott, even with that rumor and previous to that rumor. This is where she really got me, okay? Memphis is a place that not many people wanted to come to, but Alex Simmons did. Memphis is not a place that many people want to stay, but Alex Simmons does. Whew. Okay, third person is just unbecoming. No matter who you are, it's speaking in third person is always a bad move. I think it's a worse move in an effort to keep your job to try to drag Memphis down with you. Like, what kind of strategy is that? If you want the people of Memphis and the athletic department and the people of the city to support you, you don't mention how few people want to come to the city and how you're one of the very few that wants to be here. So you should keep your job. I find that rather insane, and I know you do too, Kenny.
Yeah, no, that comment was very clear to me that there was a level of lashing out, with those comments.
And I've heard more from beyond just that quote about how the last few months went.
Yeah,
and then you had the Paris Gaines incident.
Yeah.
Where she got the aggravated assault charge.
Multiple players booted off the team for internal reasons, whatever, there just seemed to be a situation where I think she's kind of in a lot of ways the saddest part about it was that, let's not forget, when before Alex Simmons got here, the Tigers had a couple of years of relatively good success, right? With Katrina Merriweather as the head coach. She had done that exactly like what you were talking about when she came in. Katrina came over and I think they were 16-11 their first season as the head coach, as Katrina was the head coach. And then the second season, second in the American, 22-10 on the year. Went to the semifinals of the American Conference tournament. I think they end up going to the NIT. I think potentially the women's NIT. You saw kind of a trajectory path moving forward, and there was a ton of excitement about what the Memphis women's basketball program was going towards after years of some disappointing results under the previous coach to her. And then obviously Katrina Merriweather takes the Cincinnati job, which was obviously you're going to take a Power 4 gig when you get a chance to. Alex Simmons came in with like a lot of publicity on her back with the fact that she was a former Tennessee Vol under Pat Summitt, had the Pat Summitt stamp of approval. And then at the same time coming into a fan base that was relatively rejuvenated because of Katrina Merriweather's success. And like you said, it's just been 3 years of constant decline. And It ended this year with them not even making the conference tournament. Their season ended their final game of the regular season, knowing full well they were not going to be playing postseason basketball. It's bad.
When she took over, though, it was a decent resume to look at. And it was a decent track record with the Tennessee thing, the Pat Summitt approved, like all that. She was 90-59 at her previous stop. In low Division I and low Division I women's college basketball.
Yeah.
It's interesting, and I want to hear from people super inside this whole thing about, like, really, why did she fail so badly here? What was the issue? Because there seemingly was some groundwork laid for her to be successful, and she undid a lot of it. Like this was the undoing of that program in a lot of ways, and we'll see what they can do with the next hire. But it's going to be interesting to watch.
I am glad that Ed Scott is kind of laying the groundwork for how these hires are going to go. Depending on what happens with Penny Hardaway. They've hired an outside agency to do a search to conduct a nationwide search. I like that. That for me tends to it allows for the cronyism and the nepotism, if you will. I've heard people say Charles Huff's wife should be the next head coach at the University of Memphis, and I'm like, because she used to coach at Tennessee State, coach women's basketball.
Was she go to Tennessee State?
I don't know.
How long has she been out of coaching? I'm pretty sure she's doing leadership stuff now.
Right. Like, it was just fine. I'm sure she's awesome at what she does, but it's
I don't know if she'd be interested in that right now. Her,
right.
I think,
my biggest
pretty successful family, to say the least.
Like, my frustration with Alex Simmons and how that whole situation went down is, like, there are not many organizations, media organizations in the city that actually have somebody dedicated specifically to covering her team. And part of that is because this is not a charity business. This is a money-making industry where your goal is to put resources into a situation where you're going to get your money back, right? And with the lack of success that Alex had here, there was very little interest in anything Memphis women's basketball over the last couple of years. Nobody really cared. Bluff City Media had a specific Shamaria Wiseman went to every single game, tried to interview players, tried to talk to Alex, tried to do a bunch of things. And it just made covering like and I don't know if it was an Alex Simmons thing or if it was the SID department thing. I don't know what it was. They made it very difficult to cover that team. And I say, like,
that's sad.
But then here's the problem. Alex took that as an affront to her that nobody cares. Like, how dare nobody care about covering my team? Well, guess what, Alex? Like this is high level Division I basketball. You can't have post-game press conferences when you win and then choose to not talk to media when you lose and not do
Dunk 'em
press
when you
conferences
lose.
when you lose. Dunk on them when you lose, complain about the coverage when you lose, and then when you get called out about it, block media members on Twitter. You just cannot do that. And because here's the thing, the reality of the situation is that Alex could complain about the coverage of her team, but the University of Memphis, the people that employ her, gave more of a percentage. They gave over women's soccer, over men's soccer, over baseball, over softball, over tennis, over teams that have been historically better than what your program is. They saw value in what you were bringing in your program and gave you, you were top 3 at the university in terms of revenue sharing. And so the money was there, the financial support was behind you to go out and do your job well. I just think it's sad that it went down the way that it did, because there's nothing more annoying to me than somebody that is a victim in everything that happens. And that's kind of what it felt like with Alex, is that everything was against her. Everything, everybody,
and
everything.
Media members, did that really happen? She was blocking media members?
Yeah.
I say this about any coach. I'll keep the same energy. If you coach high level basketball, football, soccer, I don't give a damn. If you get covered by the media and you are in the habit of blocking media members without them putting up an affront to your family or releasing personal information, and they're just throwing criticisms out there of your team, you're not going to be a successful coach. You have too thin a skin. You can't have that thin a skin. You just cannot. To be successful at this level, you have to have thick skin. You have to be able to take the criticism and act upon it. Not get mad at it, not feel like the world's out to get you, which is what blocking someone on social media is.
I just feel
that's very disappointing.
I just feel like if you are, and maybe I'm just different in this regard. If something is happening negative, my goal, especially when I am the head coach of a high level Division I basketball program, even when the success, it's when you are bad that you should be more accessible, more open, more honest, more transparent about.
Shit, I'll give Penny credit. Penny still.
That's what I'm
puts
saying.
It out there when he's losing, brother. I don't love everything he says at all.
We're all human beings.
He is accessible. He's very accessible. He did a one-on-one after a loss a couple of weeks ago. He did a one-on-one in the hallway that he knew was being recorded by Parth.
Crazy.
That
was genuine and answered you feel everything. And I'm telling you, as much as Penny Hardaway says too much sometimes, it is very difficult. I'm a grown man, right? And my empathy and sympathy towards college coaches has kind of gone away, right? I've been in this game long enough to just go, this is kind of a business, bro. You just got to do your job, right?
Yeah, and when they bitch about criticism is where I usually fall. That falls flat to me.
But it is very difficult for me to really get after Penny Hardaway when he sits in a hallway with Parth Upadhyay one-on-one.
And Parth, to be clear, was the only Memphis media member there at that moment. So he could have very well just said, okay, there's not an assembled media. I don't have a press room. I can just go.
I'm just going to answer a couple
Parth walked back there and he said, okay, brother, come on, pull out your camera. Let's do this.
And I texted Parth and told him this, bro, you shout out, kudos to him for the questions he was asking. They were hard questions.
Yeah. They were. And Penny answered the shit out of them.
He answered the absolute shit out of them.
I didn't like a lot of the one answer in particular he gave that day. We talked about it. And I don't need to we don't need to relitigate that. But the point is, that's how you handle negative coverage. That's how you handle criticism.
Yeah.
You can't just front run and be happy with success and talk to people about how much fun you're having. You got to talk to people about the misery as well, because generally the fans that support you are going through that same shit.
Yeah, they feel it too, man.
Just to be clear. So they want answers and you have to give it to them. And Alex, it sounds like for Alex, that was a definite negative that probably, I'm not saying large part, because the lack of production on the floor and the losing seasons was the biggest reason she was fired. But that's something that had to contribute, no doubt about it.
There was zero ingratiation to the community, to the people that are.
She tried it first. She tried it first.
Yeah.
She came on my show at one point.
She came on Bluff City Media.
Doing a bunch
we
of
talked
interviews.
to her for
But it's listen. Can I just say this? It's easy to be like the new person in town, like the new hope for a whole program, when it's 0-0. Yeah. When you get punched in the mouth and you're 10-21, are you going to be able to respond the same way?
That's right.
Simple.
I hope she goes. I hope she,
and in a lot of ways, a bunch of industries in this world, just life in general, I think that tells the story about a human being, a person, and how successful they're going to be.
I hope she goes on and is successful wherever she ends up, whether it's as a head coach of a lower level team or whatever. I really want her to be successful. She's got a beautiful family. She's a good person. My hope is that this agency that's doing the coaching search hires somebody that is ready to really capitalize on what clearly the city is ready for. The city wants the women's team to be good. Like, look at dude, have you seen the El Morone lately? The work that they've put into the El Morone, it looks amazing inside that facility. Like, unbelievable. And so it places prime for a good basketball team, and I'm ready for the Lady Tigers to have one. So
yeah,
be good.
All right, now we need to go ahead and get to the hot three. So what we're gonna do is you're gonna watch some messages out there, and then when those messages are over, Kenny's gonna lead us back in, and we'll talk some NFL free agency. We'll talk Ja finally speaking to the media. We have plenty to get to on the other side. Stick around.
Tired of the same old fast food? The soggy fries, the frozen flavors, the meals that never quite hit right. Head over to Waldo's Chicken and Beer, where everything starts fresh and flavor comes first. Our chicken is fried in rich beef tallow for that bold, old-school crunch you can actually taste. And don't skip the premium homemade southern sides. Fresh greens, hearty white beans, and creamy mac and cheese made to complete the meal. Bring your whole family. There's plenty of space to relax. Plus a game room the kids will love. Catch the game on big screens, grab a drink at the full bar, and enjoy happy hour specials. Every day from 3 to 6, all day on Tuesday and Sunday. Waldo's Chicken and Beer. Real food, real flavor, made from scratch.
We also need a dose of reality, a spoonful of reality here as well. It feels like we're kind of getting entrenched in the 8th seat, like the 8th best odds. Who's going to be around, who we might reach for, or who we might draft.
My criteria is miss on the Freako, guys. If you're going to miss on Freako. If Caleb Wilson's there, which he probably won't be, but that's a guy that I would target as the top end there, number one. And again, it's probably a pipe dream. Freako athletic, 6'10". Wayno keeps comparing him to KG, which if you want to talk dirty to me about a player, compare him to Kevin Garnett.
Yeah, for sure.
I love Acuff. I've grown on him a lot. I think he's an offensive dynamo. He's a 6'3" guard who's questionable defensively, but in that range, you're not getting a sure thing, or they would be going in the top 3.
Tune into the 2 Buck Sports Show with Rusty Witten and Drew Gann, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel. Shout out to the Memphis Tigers for a multitude of reasons. Number one, like you said, breaking a 7-game losing streak and having to fight their absolute ass off to get this done. And they did. We have to show respect to the fact that the Tigers could have easily laid down, and they didn't.
We talked about being able to take sucker punch after sucker punch after sucker punch, and then Memphis's inability to fight back from those body blows that they take in games. Well, there's no bigger haymaker that you could throw than coming back from 9 points down with 1:49 left in the second half. Memphis basically had that game won.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, this game goes to overtime. But we were talking back and forth, and we were like, yeah, I think Memphis is going to lose this game. Like, they're going to give up the big run to send it to overtime. Then overtime comes, Tulane has the momentum, and they're just not going to win. This is just how the script is going to go. Thankfully, Kenny, we were wrong. And there are times, man, I love being wrong.
Tune in to Tigers Live with Francis Carlotta, live after every Memphis Tiger basketball game on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel. Some dreams don't just come true, they come with 4 paws. At Puppy Dreams, we match loving families with happy, healthy puppies. From playful companions to lifelong best friends, your perfect match is waiting. And with our professional grooming spa, your pup will look as amazing as they feel. Visit Puppy Dreams today and meet the one who's been waiting just for you. All right, we are back with the Hot 3, ready to talk the hottest 3 stories in sports.
One of them is especially hot. You know what I mean?
One's especially hot, if you know what I'm saying. We'll get to it in a second. Let's talk NFL free agency. It's been 2 days of NFL free agency so far. Why is it that Kenneth Walker and the Kansas City Chiefs are the biggest winners so far?
Okay, you're crazy.
What?
You're out of your mind.
Excuse me. Memphis' own Arlington High School has
Listen,
owned.
I love Kenneth Walker III, and I'm disappointed the Seahawks did nothing to even try to retain him.
So crazy, right?
Off of a Super Bowl MVP run, and
MVP.
you know what he was able to do, 4 100-yard rushing games on the way to a Super Bowl. Just wild that they didn't even try to bring him back. But I guess they feel strongly about Zach Charbonnet off of injury, or they're going to go get somebody in the draft. So I do like that move. I want to be very clear. I do like that move. But I look at some of the classes that have been put together in the legal tampering period. And by the way, should we call it tampering if it's legal? I do want to get down to that.
Yeah, like
that's interesting.
Like it's almost like you're
tampering is like, for me, it's an illegal act.
Well, right. Tampering has a negative connotation off the rip. So I find that weird how they term that. Yeah, that's a good point.
And for those that are just now joining us, Max Crosby, because of his physical, his medicals, the trade to the Ravens from the Raiders did not go through for the 2 first-round picks. And this year's draft,
saying it did,
and then next year's draft. So that's from Diana Rossini just about 30 minutes ago.
All
as
right.
we got the show going. So that's wild. And the Ravens are going to have to go out and get somebody, and maybe there's a guy that I'll mention here in a second they could go get. But some things that stuck out to me. One, Titans. I don't mind what they're doing. I tend to like what they're doing. You have Cam Ward in place. You need some help on the O-line, sure.
Yeah.
You got a little bit of help there, but you bring in Wan'Dale Robinson, who's familiar with Brian Daboll, who's one of the better receivers that nobody knows about in the NFL. Like, I think he's very underrated. Daniel Bellinger's another guy that's familiar with Brian Daboll's system. He's going to come over and play tight end. He can be an inline blocker, hipped off blocker, catch a few passes, although he's more of a possession guy than a big play threat. You got 2 corners, Cordell Flott and Alante Taylor, for decent amount of money, decent chunk of change. Those are 2 good corners, on top of if L'Jarius Sneed ever does anything for you and when he comes back from injury. So I like that. You bring in a D lineman, John Franklin Myers, who, guess what, familiar with Robert Saleh. So I think that the Titans did a good job of finding useful pieces with their money that are familiar with the systems they'll be running immediately. And I think that could equal a few more wins going into next season with the type of staff that they've put together with Robert Saleh, Brian Daboll, and otherwise. So I did like what the Titans did. Just wanted to throw that out there immediately. Another thing that's sticking out to me, edge rushers are getting paid way too much. Right. There's a couple of guys in particular where I said, what the hell are they doing? And granted, a team, it takes one team to pay you a shit ton of money, and that's your value for life. Jalen Phillips getting 4 years, $120 million. $30 million per year from the Panthers is embarrassing. That's an embarrassing contract that the Panthers put out there. He's not worth that. Never has been. He's a guy who has a bunch of injuries. He's had 3 pretty catastrophic injuries, 2 since he's been in the NFL, 1 in college. I played him when he was at UCLA as a true freshman.
Wow.
And he's improved a lot. I don't want to hate on him. Really good at Miami his senior year, but he's had 3 real injuries along the way, and he's never had more than 7.5 sacks in a season. So I don't get that. Odafe Owe got 4 years, $100 million from the Washington Commanders. What? Do you even know that guy's name, Kenny?
Nope.
I know you're not as big. Odafe Owe. You familiar with him? Exactly. So why is he getting $25 million a year? But that leads me into my next thing. There is a D-end, an edge, that's not getting paid that Adam Schefter reported today wants between $30 and $40 million because of the value of these contracts. Trey Hendrickson. He's the best guy on the open market. He was an all-pro 2 years ago, first team. He had 35 sacks in 20 combined in 23 and 24. He led the NFL in sacks in 24, which led him to an all-pro season. Last year, got hurt a little bit, but it doesn't seem like it's anything crazy. Maybe his medicals are worse than they're leading us to believe right now, but he had 4 sacks in 7 games when he played last year. Still pretty productive. I think we would all admit that. Why are teams balking at the idea of bringing him in when they're paying these other guys that may be a little bit younger that type of money? I don't quite understand. You can talk about his age. You can talk about his injuries. His injuries don't seem as vast as Jalen Phillips. And when you talk about age, you realize his best season as a professional where he led the league in sacks and got first team All-Pro, he was 30 years old. It's 2 years ago. So explain to me, please, NFL teams, what's wrong with Trey Hendrickson? Because I need to know. Because I don't mind him drawing a line in the sand as well. He never got his due paid by the Bengals, even though he was highly productive for them, helped to get them to an AFC championship game 2 years over, helped get them to a Super Bowl against the Rams that they lost. So I just please explain this to me. And then, you get into the weeds a little bit more with the quarterbacks. I think the one guy we talked about last week was Malik Willis to prep us for free agency in the tampering period. He goes to the Dolphins. I thought that was the worst possible spot for him to land, just because I don't see a future for them. Their O-line's not very good. You're just going to have Jalen Waddle there on the outside. Your run game is going to suffer because the O-line's not getting any better. They have $151 million tied up in dead cap. So half of their cap next year will be toward players that they don't have on the roster anymore, including Tua Tagovailoa, who's going to sign 1 year with the Falcons. I don't know if that's going to work out, but I guess.
What do you think about that? I wanted to ask you about that. What are your
I guess they're just stacking up a bunch of left-handed quarterbacks. I do get the sense that Kevin Stefanski looked at what Tua Tagovailoa did in the Mike McDaniel system. And Kevin Stefanski and him are very similar in their run schemes and their play action timing on their pass plays and play action. So I think the system makes sense for Tua, but I just don't think Tua is very good anymore. I think he's a lifetime backup from this point forward in his career until he retires. But yeah, Malik Willis going to the Dolphins for $20 million a year, 3 years, I think $60 million bucks. There was better spots. I wish he would have waited and picked a better landing spot than that with Jeff Hafley in year 1 as the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. But hey, it is what it is. The Cowboys made a move going to get Rashawn Gary using a 4th round pick, even though he was going to get released. I guess their idea was if he was going to get released, they were going to have a lot more competition to go get him.
Right.
But they give up a 4th round pick to make sure they get him instead. The only thing I'd say about that is I need to mention this. His cap hit for the next 2 years is more than Micah Parsons. So Micah Parsons. Just worth asking.
Just a good question.
Is there anything that stuck out to you, Kenny, before we move on?
Yeah, it does feel like I do like the idea of the Dallas Cowboys kind of figuring out who they want their guy to be and doing whatever it takes to go get them. I'm a fan of that in sports all the way around. So like giving up a 4th round draft pick, I'm okay with that, even because especially if you're trying to target.
If you want the guy and you don't want to take your chances on the open market, sure,
right, go get him. Right. I'm interested. I'm going to go back to the Kenneth Walker thing. You breezed past that.
I'm excited to see. Like, obviously, Patrick Mahomes needed a guy who could kind of be a short yardage guy for him. What was it? I think he had some, like, Patrick Mahomes had some absurd stat where he had to run for like 37 first downs or something throughout the year because they just didn't have any short yardage guys. And I feel like that's what good, like, I think it's going to, and I'll ask you this since you're the football guy, do you think Kenneth Walker's going to have an impact on maybe bringing Kansas City back to what they've seen in the past, or is it just everybody's getting old and it's their time?
I think he'll make an impact. They have a running back who can take a bulk of the carries, right?
Yeah.
Can run for 20 times a game, take 20 carries, as opposed to Isaiah Pacheco and Clyde Edwards-Helaire and this rotating. Like, he's the best back. I looked back at it. Besides maybe Kareem Hunt early, he's the best back Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs have had in probably the better part of a decade.
Yeah.
So, like, I think he'll make an impact. I will say this, though, Kenny. I think you're making a bigger deal that needs to be made about it. He got his bag. That's the story here.
I love it.
I don't think he's going to be the difference maker in getting them back to the Super Bowl window that they cherish. I think that's Patrick Mahomes getting back on the field. That's them tinkering their offensive system, and maybe that happens with Eric Bieniemy coming back in at OC as opposed to Matt Nagy. Right. But yeah, I personally think that to me was a smaller deal than a lot of the other things we've seen from teams, from the edge rushing market and everything else. He got his $15 million per year, and salute to the guy. I just have doubts about it, meaning that the Chiefs are back. You know what I mean? Like, it's a good signing, makes a lot of sense. I just don't think it's as impactful as people are making it on the surface because he just won Super Bowl MVP. Before that, he's sharing, carries with Zach Charbonnet. He wasn't even the short yardage guy, Kenny. Like, for the Seahawks this year, Zach Charbonnet came in short yardage. Yeah. But until they realized through that playoff run when they didn't have Zach Charbonnet, oh shit, this guy can do that.
He can do that.
Like,
this is
and
good.
I think it helps. Like, I think he'll fit in well in the sense that he's got that. He can do that Le'Veon Bell running style where you do a couple of jump cuts, find your lane, get going. Because of the Chiefs' interior three, I think they have the ability to let him do a little bit more of that. Be patient, find his lane, jump cut, go. And then, I forgot to mention the Ravens. They've spent, or not the Ravens, the Raiders, I should say, shit ton of money spent. Tyler Linderbaum, the center from the Ravens, 3 years, $81 million, $27 million per year for a center. The second per year center in the league, how much he makes? Creed Humphrey for the Chiefs makes $18 million. So they paid $9 million over the market to reset it to get Tyler Linderbaum. They also added 2 linebackers that I really like, and Quay Walker and Nakobe Dean. Quay Walker from the Packers, Nakobe Dean from the Eagles. That's for decent money. I don't think the Raiders are going to be phenomenal next year by any stretch of the imagination. But getting Linderbaum as a center to make calls for Fernando Mendoza in his rookie year and getting some linebacker help, I think will, fill in some of the gaps that they need to go forward with a new head coach, new quarterback, rookie quarterback on a rookie scale deal. I think they've done a good job considering all the money they had and how much they're spending.
Yeah, shout out. All right, let's get to the second topic. It's a fun one. This has been interesting. And I'm really looking forward to hearing your thoughts on this. The Atlanta Hawks announced a couple of weeks ago that they were going to be doing a theme night with Magic City, which is a world famous, probably the most famous gentleman's club in the country, known for a lot of things, but mainly got kind of on the map, I think, globally when Lou Williams left the bubble and decided to go get some lemon pepper wings during the bubble season. During the COVID years, he got caught in Magic City. Everybody was like, well, what is Magic City? It turns out it's a gentleman's club with apparently really good wings, is what I've been told. But the Atlanta Hawks were going to celebrate, do a theme night with Magic City, the gentleman's club, the strip club. Got a lot of pushback from players, got some pushback from...
It got pushback from 2 players, man. That I saw.
It got some pushback.
Luke Cornett and Al Horford were the main ones.
Right. And the NBA stepped in and said, Adam Silver announced yesterday that they had canceled that theme night. Overall, what are your thoughts on all this, man? This has kind of been a hot topic across the country. But what are your thoughts on all of it?
Stay out of folks' fucking business. That's what I'd say.
Damn.
I get frustrated with Adam Silver for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
He is the most reactionary, social media present commissioner in the world, and I don't think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
He hears bitching and moaning on social media, and that equals real life things for his league. And that shit pisses me off. I'm surprised he didn't throw a tournament. You know, instead of doing Magic City night, why don't you just have a tournament at halftime? I mean, he throws a tournament at every fucking thing. But no, I thought it was ridiculous. I think what's missing in a lot of this, yes, it's a gentleman's club. Yes, we should respect women. What's missing, though, is a lot of the people commenting on this don't know the culture of Atlanta, haven't talked to people from Atlanta. Go talk to the strippers at Magic City. See how they're treated. Please. Most of them make six figures or more a year. Like, this is a staple of their city, man, for better or for worse. Yeah. You're leaning into it. And also, it would have been a great night, great promotion, a bunch of butts in the seats. Tickets went from $180 to $50 once the NBA canceled this. That's maybe bullshit due to the Hawks organization.
Maybe not butts.
And to Magic City, who could have gotten a lot more people from around the world to go to their fucking club. I'm trying not to do the whataboutism thing, but it really is. You do have to what about this a little bit. What about Miles Bridges? What about Kevin Porter Jr.? What about Karl Malone having he got a 13-year-old pregnant, guys. I'm going to say it out loud because it bears repeating. Got a 13-year-old pregnant when he was at Louisiana Tech, brother. And this dude has a golden statue out front of the Utah Jazz arena. And we don't say fucking one word about it. We avoid it. But whoa, Magic City, women that make six figures a year that, are part of the city's culture at a black-owned business. That's a step too far for the NBA. Oh, we can't support that. That's so dumb to me. Like, listen, I'll stop the whataboutism there, but here's what I'll say. If you're going to do this, stay consistent. Anytime there's any threats to women in the league, I'm looking forward to you stepping in, Adam Silver. I'm looking forward to you removing players from rosters that have ever touched a woman in an inappropriate way. Or, by God, I saw the pictures of what Miles Bridges did to his former girlfriend. For God's sakes, if that happens, they should be off the floor. I'm looking forward to you actually upholding women and holding them in high regard. Because this was clearly a bridge too far. I personally think there was a bridge too far years ago. This was the least of your issues. And then I want to mention this. I think this should be on the Hawks to cancel, not the NBA to cancel. The Hawks are well within they understand the backlash they're getting. Their governor has a stake in that. If he felt like the backlash was too much, you know what he could have done? He could have nipped it in the bud and said no. But you know what? I bet the Atlanta Hawks governor knows the culture of that city and how high of a regard that strip club takes in that city from a culture perspective. It means something. It does. Whether you like it or not from outside of the city of Atlanta, they love it. And they were going to show up to that game and that promotion on a Monday night in March in droves. And you just ruined that for them. This is what Adam Silver said. Did I already read this? Nope. When we became aware of the Atlanta Hawks scheduled promotion, we reached out to the Hawks leadership to better understand their plans and rationale. While we appreciate the team's perspective and their desire to move forward, we have heard significant concerns from a broad array of league stakeholders, including fans, partners, and employees. I believe canceling this promotion is the right decision for the broader NBA community. No, the fuck it's not. The broader I'll tell you this, broader NBA community of fans don't give a shit. They don't. And if you act like you do, it's only because your attention was forced to look at this for a second. So, you know what? I went long-winded, Kenny.
Nope.
I think you get my point. I find this to be one of the dumbest things we've had to talk about this year, and I find it even dumber for Adam Silver to step out of his world in the NBA offices and go to a particular team and say, you can't do that promotion. It doesn't shed women in the right light. Your whole league for years has put women in a bad spot. Women, in a light that's not so glowing. Okay? So I don't want to hear about the Magic City night being a problem. It's just silly. It really is.
My only thoughts, and I'll end it with this because I really appreciate what you said. Is there's nothing worse in this world than hypocrites. Like, hypocrisy is revolting in every single way. And to a certain degree, we're all a little bit hypocritical in things, right? Like we all can be hypocritical, but as a league, when you have, you're literally in the process of covering up, a company, a team,
Aspiration, Kawhi.
the Kawhi stuff. When you're in the process of selling your soul to a country that routinely kills its own citizens in China.
Robert Parra's caught up in a drone war with the Ukraine and Russia.
Like, there's just so much here, right? Especially with women. If that's the case, like if you do feel that way, then just ban NBA players from going to Magic City, right?
Never have another halftime performer.
Let's go to that
All-Star
level.
game or otherwise that has ever had any run-ins with women. Right. Go take the Karl Malone statue down immediately. Like, that should be without saying. If we're really going down this route, then go down this route, Adam. That's what I'd say to Adam Silver. But otherwise, you're just half-assing it and doing bullshit because you're a reactionary, bad commissioner. You're a bad commissioner. You have been horrible for some time, and I think it's about time people call it out in droves. It's embarrassing to watch how much he reacts to social media.
I have a theory on how all that played out, though, in Atlanta. I imagine there was some second semester intern that was put in charge of coming up with ideas for theme nights, right? And they probably got a little high one night and said, you know how much fun it would be to have a Magic City night?
And can I be honest? You know how good of a fucking idea that is? It was a great idea. It really was.
But just imagine being that person and being like, I'm going to pitch this to my bosses.
Yeah.
And then going, oh, shit, they liked it. And then it goes up another desk. Oh, shit, they like that, too. And then
what if it was somebody trying to get fired with it?
Yeah, what if it was like, and they're getting promotions and raises and stuff? Like,
you ever seen the Ted movie?
Yeah.
When he gets the job at the grocery store? Yes. Yeah, that's what I'm imagining.
Nobody ever speaks to me that way.
You're hired.
Oh, man, I just think it's so funny. Like, it gets to the president of basketball operations in Atlanta, and he's like, who is that intern that came up with that idea? Hire him immediately. Anyway.
But yeah, man, I think I hope people keep holding them to account for this. Because this is an embarrassing look for the NBA office, embarrassing look for Adam Silver, and I think they completely missed the mark.
I'm going to be honest with you, bro, just and we can get off the subject. I understand what you're saying, but it is very difficult for me to understand how you engage a family-friendly environment with the Atlanta Hawks where you can take your kids to it and have a family night and all that, and all of a sudden it's Magic City night. Like, that's very difficult for me. So I understand where you're coming from.
Are you bringing the kids out on Monday night at 7 p.m., 7:30 p.m.?
Not on Magic City night, I'm not. Hell no, I'm not.
Well, shit.
But that's difficult for me. That's a difficult bridge to cross.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing that I think a lot of people need to realize about children, okay? If you don't want your kids to go to the game, don't take them to the game. It's really not that complicated. Yes, I want a family-friendly atmosphere. I really don't think it would have disrupted that much. They weren't going to have half-naked strippers out there in the middle of the floor. And we're going to do that.
The NBA talked to the Atlanta Hawks.
All they were doing is T.I.'s going to perform at halftime. They're going to sell garb and have performers. That's what they were going to do in honor of Magic City. They're going to sell wings. Performers isn't like music acts, dude. What do you think they were going to put poles up there and just like? Come on, and shit, that happened at Kansas. You remember their Midnight Madness a few years back?
Yes, and it was crazy.
You had Snoop Dogg up there. They had poles. They had women dancing on the damn poles, brother.
What I'm saying, there's precedent here.
All right. But in the end of the day, the what about the kids shit makes me so mad. You as a parent, take control of your children, okay? If you don't want your children going to Magic City night, don't take them to Magic City night.
That is such a bullshit argument. We'll get off this. But that's a bullshit argument. That's bullshit.
How?
What if you're telling me, like, there has got to. I understand what you're saying in regards to like protect your kids, but this is supposed to be like the Atlanta Hawks is the city's team. I don't understand necessarily how you are supposed to like, as a father, go to my daughter, hey, I'm taking you to a place that's celebrating something that objectifies. Like, it just does. It does.
Take her then.
I understand that.
Don't take her.
I'm just saying, bro. I'm just saying. That is where my brain is at.
I mean, this is kind of the argument you get like when you talk to some people about, taking kids to drag shows. If you don't want kids to go to drag shows, don't fucking take them to drag shows.
I understand.
To me, it's not that complicated. And I'm sorry for like stepping, I don't need to curse, okay? But this is something I do feel passionate about because I'm frustrated by it. And I think people are so dense with their arguments back toward people.
I
understand there's whataboutism to the whole thing, and that's most of the arguments. But I would say with the whataboutism, I think a lot of that is valid. If you're going to say you're upholding and protecting women, do it. Don't cancel Magic City Night and think your job's done, your work's done. That's my problem with the whole thing. Okay, all right, love you.
All right, let's get off this. All right, John Morant's comments. It's so crazy. If there is not a sign, the way that this last half of the season has played out, that John Morant is not a part of the future plans of the Memphis Grizzlies. Take this media availability for an example, right? It's a guy that basically, to fulfill an obligation, a media rights obligation with the NBA, was made available 30 minutes prior to a game starting in the locker room, where there was probably like 3 or 4 people in the locker room. It wasn't a press conference like in front of the media in the press conference room. It was in the locker room. It was just one of those small little media availabilities that usually nobody ever comes to. That just tells me everything I need to know about what the Grizzlies feel about John Morant. But he was asked some questions. I think Drew Hill from the Daily Memphian was there. But the Michael Cole was in there. I'm sure Michael Wallace was there. Maybe some other people were there. I think there was like 3 or 4 people in there. But he had some statements, and I wanted to get your thoughts on some of these. Asking about the John Morant or the Jaren Jackson Jr. trade. He said, I wasn't a fan of it, but it's a business. So like I told him, he's been a pro for 8 years now, so continue to be that. Nothing wrong with that, right?
No, that's fine.
Yeah, makes sense.
That's the other one.
He gets to there's a few. He says he was asked, do you think you can be happy right here in Memphis? And he says, why can't I be? I've been happy this whole time.
Shh. Who's the actor who does the she? I wish I could do a perfect, like, come on, man. Right. Like this year, you talked about losing your joy. This year,
right?
About trying to get your joy back. You didn't know if you could do that. Yeah, you've been happy in moments in the city of Memphis. First few years, God, no reason not to be happy as hell.
Right.
But I think since that night in Denver, IG, Josh Holloway, all that, I think there's been a steady decline in the joy that we see night to night with John Morant. And he has told us about it.
Yeah.
Outwardly in post-game press remarks. So I don't buy that. I think what the peak of your joy can be in Memphis, and you like that part of it. But I have doubts about that ever being recreated, and I think he does too. He's just not willing to admit it.
Yep, I agree. Then he goes, do you think, he's asked, are you going to be on the team next season? And he says, I hope so. Y'all would know more than me. The internet is right there. Everything you're asking me has been on the internet. What a fumble, bro. Like, what a fumble of an answer to a question that he could, if he had a desire to change the situation, could have like literally fixed all of this by just saying the right thing and just say it's on the internet. Y'all seen it. It's out there. Y'all know better than me. That kind of stuff.
Read the quote again exactly.
Do you think you'll be on the team next season? I hope so. You would know more than me. The internet is right there. Everything you're asking me has been on the internet.
I mean, just say no. If you're being real. And there was a point where he basically said he still wanted to be a part of the organization, right? I'll just say this. I don't think I've ever doubted that if John Morant had his way, he'd stay a Grizzly, right? Like, I don't think I've doubted that. He's beloved here. Still to this day, I think there's at least 60% of the fan base that is hoping that he sticks around this offseason, which is still amazing to me. But
Yeah.
the problem is that he won't say out loud that I think a lot of people, even that are on the side of like, I want John Morant to stay around, they need to acknowledge this. Ja wants to be here, but on his own terms.
100%.
He wants a contract extension. He wants more say than the head coach behind the scenes that just got the job. He wants it on his own terms, and that's not how it's going to work from this day forward. He hasn't earned the ability to call his own terms. He's played less than 39% of the games the last 3 years. When he has been on the floor this season, he's shooting a career low in field goal percentage and 3-point percentage. His turnover assist turnover ratio is all over the place. So listen, man, if I was told it could work out with Ja long term, I'd still be there, but I just don't think it will. And I think if Ja was telling you the truth, he'd say, yes, I want to be in Memphis, but I want to be in Memphis on my own terms with an extension and more say within the franchise.
Well, good luck with that. That's not happening. Then he said, there was asked, last quote we'll talk about, 2 years remaining on your current contract, a lot of new players, a lot of young players with this Grizzlies team. How do you think you'd pair as the Grizzlies shift in a new direction? And his response was, the same I would fit with any other team, just whatever job brings to the table.
Oh, shit.
We talked earlier about going third person.
Here's what I fear, Kenny.
Yeah.
I fear whatever situation he ends up with after the Grizzlies, I fear he's not going to realize that life has changed for him.
Oh, yeah.
His basketball life is different than it was 3 years ago, man. Like,
Do you
being
think
the high
could it ever get
flying,
back? Could it ever get back to that?
I mean, if I'm being completely honest with you, I don't think he can ever get back to that. No.
Yeah.
He's not driving as much. He can't get to the rim at the same level. His shot hasn't improved. He's still a negative on defense. And again, man, as you get older, that high flying acrobatic stuff at the rim, falling down when you land, it just doesn't jive with an older body.
Yeah.
But I whatever Ja brings to the table, I'll tell him, I would say it this way. Depending on the situation, Ja may have to bring something else to the table.
Yeah.
Something different to the table. You may have to turn into Rajon Rondo, brother.
Yeah.
You're going to have to pivot in some way, shape, or form once you get out of Memphis. Because you at your peak is not a sustainable level of basketball for a guy who's 6'3" and wiry. And on top of that, you've had injuries. So I don't even think you can recreate that anymore.
Yeah.
You're a good passer. You're a good handler. You have really good eyes. You know, you can find guys on the court that not a lot of people could see. Like, there's pluses to his game. He's just got to lean into those and stop trying to recreate the past when he gets out there.
Yeah.
So
I agree. All right.
Pivot and storm. Yep. But yeah, we need to get out of here. We've gone a little bit long, but that's what happens when me and Kenny talk with each other.
That's
I
what we do.
appreciate everybody listening. Go like, comment, subscribe. Check out all the great stuff we have here at Bluff City Media. All day, all night, right? You got Anthony Sain's show, $2. Although Drew, Uncle Buck, he got to chill out on his Cam Boozer hate. I don't know if I don't know if I could suggest his NBA draft takes at the moment, but you know what? I suggest that show. It's a great show.
Great show.
We need to get up out of here. We will talk to you guys next week.
Thank you for listening to On the Bluff. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. Head over to www.bluffcitymedia.co for comprehensive coverage of Memphis sports and how you can become an insider.